عليكم السلام. Just finish it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, shall we start? You have used the full 15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad. Because I have an appointment at 8 o'clock sharp. So I have to leave. If you have some program left, you can continue with it.
We'll finish, inshallah.
Please.
I want to present the traditional question. If you could kindly share with us your two.
Traditional question, which is, of course, France. And didn't he tell you, Obade, your spy with me? Like always, this tour was also very busy, mashallah. And my tours have, in fact, two important tasks which I perform during my tours. One, to meet the Ahmadi families, old and young, all alike, children. Particularly children are very important to me because once they come into direct touch with me, then the relationship develops continuously, forever. And these are the memories which they cherish, and they have their photos with me, then they keep the photos very specially to tell others this is the picture with so-and-so. And moreover, it gives me an opportunity to watch the way the families are being brought up. Some children who grow up to the teenage, they begin to show their signs, what sort of people they are, what they are interested in, what they'll become, their haircut, their style, their wearing, their clothes, and their demeanor in general, the way they behave. So that is a very important window into every family which I have. So I go through that and then I realize what they need. Sometimes some children I speak directly, tell them, look here, this is not what I expected of you. You should behave differently, you should dress up differently. And the wonderful thing is that it always has effect, mashallah. I've never seen a child refuse. So that shows that already the younger generation in Ahmadiyya is growing with a deep sense of love and obedience to the central authority. And it is not just a formal relationship, it's a very close personal relationship. So in my previous customary traditional discussions, I think I forgot to mention this very important aspect. I thought now is the time I should highlight it. So translate it and then I'll take over.
في بداية هذه الحلقة سأل الأستاذ عبد الرحمن بن حاتم المؤمنين وقال له أريد أن أسأل حضرتكم السؤال التقليدي والمتعلق في هذا الخصوص بالرحلة التفقدية التي قام بها حضرة أمير المؤمنين للجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية الفرعية بفرنسا. فأجاب حضرة أمير المؤمنين وقال له: ألم يخبرك جاسوسك الذي سافر معي عبادة، وهو يقصدني أنا شخصيا، إذ حصل لي الشرف أن أسافر مع حضرة أمير المؤمنين في هذه الرحلة التاريخية. فأجاب حضرة أمير المؤمنين وقال أن لرحلاتي دائما هنالك نقطتين هامتين. الأولى هي مقابلة العائلات الأحمدية، وخصوصا يقول حضرة أمير المؤمنين أنه يركز على الأطفال ويبني معهم علاقة، لأن هذه العلاقة ستدوم للأبد، وهكذا يطلب منهم أن يأخذوا صور مع حضرته، هكذا يحتفظوا بها كتذكار كي يبقى هذا في ذاكرتهم. ثم قال حضرته أنه من خلال هذه اللقاءات المباشرة مع هذه العائلات بإمكانه أن يتفحص ويرى أيضا المستوى التربوي للشباب هنالك، وهذا من خلال ملابسهم، وأيضا من خلال قص شعرهم، ومن خلال ما يفعلون به في تلك المجتمعات الغربية. ثم قال حضرة المؤمنين أنه بعد أن يلاحظ كل هذه الأمور ينصح هؤلاء كي يحسنوا من أوضاعهم ودائما هم يستجيبون لنداء حضرة أمير المؤمنين، ويرى هنالك فيهم تغيير جذري بعد أن يلاقيهم بعد فترة. وهكذا يقول حضرته أنه ممنون لله سبحانه وتعالى أنهم دائما يستجيبون بصفة إيجابية ويتخلصون من هذه الأمور ويتحسنون ويقتربون أكثر إلى التعاليم الإسلام والتشبه بالأخلاق الإسلامية.
One amazing thing which I have always noticed during these mulaqat programs with families, that many a time parents bring their child complaining against him that he doesn't listen to this or that of our orders, he doesn't behave properly and so on and so forth, and you please tell him to behave or do this and do that. That is one thing which I don't like saying in the front of child, like in so many words and with criticism. Children feel embarrassed. They don't like it. If the parents are criticizing their own children in front of somebody whom they like, whom they love, whom they respect, so they feel extremely embarrassed. And they shouldn't have said this in so many words. It would be much better if they could write to me a few lines about the child or the girl that she needs or he needs this and this particular advice. I could take over. But sometimes I've seen this anger, appearing or signs of anger. So I always try to cut the parent short and call the child to me, beckon him up or her up to me and say, don't worry about this, I don't mind. I know you are a good boy, you're a good girl and this and that. And there's some problems, why don't you tell them that they should also behave properly towards you and so on. So that sort of thing. And then the child is so encouraged. And then within a matter of a few minutes, the temper boils down and peace appears, and with a little more love and petting, then I inquire from the child, would you not promise to do this and that? He says, yes, I promise. And many a time when I revisit such places, the reports are always positive. None has ever complained that the child who promised you this, he didn't fulfill. And many a time I see the change in the attire, and sometimes they're no longer recognizable. Some young boys, not just children, but grown-up teenagers, who come with long hanging hair and the style, is more like the modern gangsters and bullies. So when I ask them, are you a lady, girl, or a boy? What's happening there? And they immediately notice it. And sometimes during the next session, I see them not the same day, but next day, I see them properly, with properly dressed and cut hair and so on and so forth. Habits change. I watched them wearing golden bracelets in the neck. Not the bracelet, what do you call it? Golden chain, necklace. Chains. They're more like chains than necklaces. And when I tell them, look here, you are a boy and you shouldn't wear gold because Rasulullah didn't like it, I've seen boys, snatch it away and say, they don't care. So that shows the potential of reform in Ahmadiyyat is going really very high. There is no such institution other than Ahmadiyyat anywhere in the world where children are brought to meet somebody and they immediately accept the influence and return reformed. So this is happening only in the world of Ahmadiyyat. So this is why the family mulaqats are highly important today. After this, translated,
واصل حضرة أمير المؤمنين حديثه وقال أنه يستغرب من بعض الآباء الذين يحضرون أبنائهم ليقابلوا حضرته، ثم يشتكون منهم لحاتم المؤمنين ويقولون أن ابني هذا لا يستجيب لأوامري وأنه يقوم بأفعال أخرى لا تعجبني. فأجاب حاتم المؤمنين وقال أنه شخصيا لا يحبذ هذه الأشياء، إذ هذه الأمور تجعل الأطفال يشمئزون في حضور حضرته، إذ أنهم بما أنهم يولون هذا الحب والامتنان الكبير لحضرة المؤمنين، فهكذا يخرج منهم نوع من الاشمئزاز ولا يشعرون بالراحة. فيقول حضرة المؤمنين: أنا أحبذ أو يكون من المستحسن أن الآباء يكتبوا لي رسائل يفسروا فيها هذه الأمور، فهذا لن يجعل هؤلاء الأطفال الصغار وغيرهم والشباب يشمئزوا من هذا الأمور أو من عرض نقاط ضعفهم هكذا أمام العامة. ثم قال حاتم المؤمنين أنه في تلك الظروف لما يشتكي الآباء مما يفعله أبنائهم وأيضا يفضحون نقاط ضعفهم، يقول حاتم المؤمنين أنه يرى تغير في ملامح هؤلاء الشباب، فهكذا يفتح حاتم المؤمنين أحضانه ويأخذ هذا الشاب ويقول له أنني أعرف أنك طفل صالح وتقوم وجيد أيضا، وهكذا يحاول أن يغير من آلامه ويخرج منه هذا الاشمئزاز. ثم يقول حاتم المؤمنين: لما أحس أن وقع هنالك تغيير جذري بعد هذا التأثر من ذلك الشاب، يقول له حاتم المؤمنين: الآن لابد أن تعدني أنك ستتخلص من هذه الأمور ونقاط الضعف التي يشتكي منها آبائك. ويقول حاتم المؤمنين أن التقارير التي وصلتني في هذا الخصوص تخبرني أن كل من تحدث معهم حاتم المؤمنين بهذه اللهجة وبهذا الأسلوب قد تخلوا على هذه الأمور تماما. ثم يقول حاتم المؤمنين أنه مرة رأى أحد الشباب كان له شعر طويل وكان أيضا يلبس سلسلة ذهبية ويتشبه بنوع من فرق أخرى، فسأله حاتم المؤمنين بأسلوب مؤدب وقال له: ما هل هذا الأسلوب أسلوب رجل أم امرأة؟ فهذا الشاب قد تأثر قليلا وفسر له حضرته أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قد نهى الرجال من لبس هذه السلاسل الذهبية، فهكذا وبسرعة قد أخذ هذه السلسلة ونزعها من عنقه. فعلق حضرة المؤمنين على هذه النقطة الهامة وقال أن هذا النوع من الاستجابة المباشرة لا تجدونه إلا في الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية، إذ أن هنالك طاعة تامة للقائد الروحي لكل هذه الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية، وهذه ميزة حق تتميز بها وتنفرد بها في الحقيقة هذه الجماعة المباركة.
And many interesting things happen. Sometimes children, the moment they see me, they jump out of the mother's laps, and come to me and don't leave me. It's difficult to snatch them away afterwards. And sometimes they're scared and they shriek and they turn back. And when inquired why, they said he has jumped out of television. The fear is not of me because the parents tell me whenever you appear on television, they rush to it. Sometimes they kiss you and sometimes they ask things from you. And they love you watching you on television. So they are scared. I've seen it myself when they were inquired, why are you so scared? He has come out of the television, he jumped out of the screen, So they think that is the real person who is on screen and this is unreal who has come out. So very interesting things happen. And again, they want to tell me what they have learned of Islam. And the parents also are proud when the children give their performance. La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, some verses. But the problem there is that the parents think their voice is so beautiful and the songs are really they go deep into the hearts. While sometimes it's quite some effort at my part to hear them out throughout. Because parents' ears are differently tuned to their children's voices. And we hear with normal ears. Sometimes it's punishment to hear a child, croak, practically croak. And they say, look at him, what a beautiful child, So I enjoy that, watching them with such pride. But my ears also, are a little bit punished for that. But this goes, and then they discuss. Children sometimes ask their own respective questions. They want to ask directly from me, and then I inquire about the school and habits and things. And one thing I've also noticed with deep satisfaction that mostly the standard of Ahmadi boys and girls in Europe in education is exceptionally high. And the main reason is that they're not addicted to the wrong television, they're not addicted to bad habits, and their life is mostly family life. They're not like other children who want to run away and return home tired, and the family relationship is only like that of a hotel manager and a guest. But here, most cases, the family system is so intact and the whole family relationship is so warm that this improves their quality of religion, their qualities of attachment to Islam, their qualities of attachment to Ahmadiyya. And when they discuss their problems, sometimes during the children who, when they speak to me, I notice some defect in their speech, some signs of illness in their color, in their style, which the parents had not noticed before. So because I'm a homeopath and we go mostly by sign language, by symptoms as we call it. So many a time I notice something about a child and the parents didn't know it. No, he's not ill, he's not suffering from anything like this. I said, all right, I think he does. And after a month or so, they returned to me and said, yes, you're right. To be on the safe side, we took the child to the hospital and they discovered, yes, there's something wrong with the heart. And the heart symptoms are visible, asthma symptoms are visible homeopathically. I mean, it's not difficult at all to judge. And some children were retarded, and the parents didn't know that. I told them, this child is retarded. I said, no, he's all right. So next time they came and they had consulted some specialists, said, yes, you're right, he is retarded. So I help children recover from these defects, which some of which are congenital. But with the grace of Allah in homeopathy, I have noticed that congenital diseases are also curable. Again, this mulaqat provides me the opportunity to judge them how much they benefit from MTA. So sometimes I meet parents, sometimes fathers, but mostly mothers, who have been watching our homeopathy classes so regularly, and they're exceptionally intelligent. So they tell me the symptoms of the children, like an expert homeopath, and tell me, we have given this child this and that, and no cure. Please prescribe something. And then I have noticed that they have become very beneficial to all their surrounding, to the neighbors, to people who visit them occasionally, and then they're becoming very popular as doctors in every society. So this is very rewarding to see the fruit of your labors, bear so much fruit and laden with fruit of wonderful, delicious spiritual and physical qualities, which so many times tell me that because of our homeopathy, we have been able to convert people to Ahmadiyyat, because after a while they started asking questions. What sort of people you are? You don't charge anything. You take care of our health and our children's health, and it's unbelievable. So this uh, direct observation of what we are doing and what the effect of our efforts are, I'm really naturally very deeply satisfied and encouraged. Similarly, I see the effect of the Quran class when parents, sometimes grown-up children, they tell us that now we are learning the Quran and we are learning this and the languages. But the most popular of all the classes which I have noticed is the Urdu class and the children's class. Children's class is popular because it is more useful in general terms, because there we display the programs instructing them on Rasul's life and childhood and Sahaba Kiram and the wars in Spain and what happened during the 800 years rule of Spanish Muslims and how it got converted. This is just a sample of what I tell them, but we speak of various things, the history of this and that country and so on and so forth. Islam in the first phase, then Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Khana Kaaba, Ramadan, Roza, things and this and that. And the well-prepared speeches by children, both boys and girls, are delivered on Sahaba of both ages, Awwaleen and Akhareen. So that is very useful, very, very informative. So they like, as far as the usefulness is concerned, they like children class very much, and they are trying to have their own children classes. And because of the sense of participation, those children who are participating in children classes in different countries, their quality of religion is improving very rapidly. The quality of religious knowledge is improving. The personal interest in Islamic behavior and conduct is improving. Again, I noticed with great satisfaction that with the grace of Allah, the children are turning away from other songs and things. And the Ahmadi songs are just the thing for them now. Even youngsters, small babies, whenever there is Hum Ahmadi Bachche Hain, this and that, they rush to the television and sit there all glued to it. So God has created their special taste, granted them that special taste, which I thought would be difficult to create because they are used to music and this and that in the West. Suddenly to turn to past things, past songs without the help of music is amazing. So all these family mulaqats provide me with these opportunities, and then I inquire from them about their da'i activities and see how many families are involved in calling to the path of Allah and so on. So this time I had only 2 days in France, and one day was entirely devoted to public activities, jalsa and things. The other day was divided, half of which went to family mulaqat. And I had to do 84 family mulaqats. And it's amazing how I could cope with it. But I did with the grace of Allah, I was all right. And then in the family mulaqat also is included the mulaqat of non-Ahmadis, men and women and sometimes with families, those whom Ahmadis have invited to come and attend the jalsa. So during those mulaqats, I see them from close quarters, you know. Previously, I see them sitting elsewhere at some distance. But to be so close, to stand together for pictures, to talk casually and freely, that gives me a glimpse into their attitudes and also how much they were impressed by Ahmadiyyat and so on and so forth. Mostly those who come, it is only those who are impressed. Those who are not impressed, they don't come. So the impression is always positive. But most of the non-Ahmadis who attend, they like to come. And sometimes the transformation is very rapid. In the first instance, when they first come and watch the Jalsa, they tell us openly, like is in the questions an older gentleman said, this is the first time I have come to see Ahmadiyya. Not only one, many said. We didn't know anything about it before. And yet, within 2 days, the transformation is amazing. Among them are those who insist, no, we must see now, must meet him. And there, people from all nationalities are represented. Not all, but many, most I should say, belonging to a country. Like when I go to Germany, nationalities of 12, 15 or more nations are included in these mulaqats and things. In France, also people from Al-Maghrib, from Syria, from other countries, Arab countries, and from African countries, from French colonies, from Europe itself. It's a very large variety of people who, and even from as far as Peru, America, and so on, and Vietnam, people from all places, all walks of life, they come, and that is not only an interesting program as far as the influence of Ahmadiyyat is concerned. We could see them growing everywhere. But also it's very instructive for me because I know about the countries from the mouths of those people who belong there. I see them with their eyes and I meet them and judge what sort of character is produced there in those countries. And I inquire from them about their views, thoughts, other religions in their countries. The result is that I'm much better prepared with the plan for preaching Islam to those countries. And I know the windows are open. They are the people who would like this, who would like that thing. This is the right approach and that is the wrong approach and so on and so forth. So these mulaqats were really very instructive. And Paris, as I told you, within half a day, but when I say half a day, my day is extended. You know, half a day of a long day. To see 84 mulaqat is quite something, mashallah. And I was so happy to be able to meet so many people from all over the world.
واصل حضرة أمير المؤمنين حديثه حول آخر جولة لحضرته في فرنسا وقال أن الأطفال يهرعون في اتجاه حضرته لما يروه في الساحة وهكذا يقبل على حضرته بسرعة. وقد استغرب حضرة أمير المؤمنين وقال أنه سأل آباء هؤلاء الأطفال الذين يهرعون إلى حضرته بسرعة لماذا يفعلون هكذا، فأخبروه أنهم دائما يشاهدون البرامج في الفضائية الإسلامية الأحمدية ويقتربون من شاشة التلفاز ويقبلون حضرته وهكذا يتحدثون معه، والآن هم يرونه بصم أعينهم وهكذا يهرعون إليه بسرعة، وبطبيعة الحال حضرة أمير المؤمنين يأخذهم في أحضانهم ويقبلهم. فقال حضرته أيضا أنهم يخبرونني بما تعلموه من الفضائية الإسلامية الأحمدية من تعاليم الإسلام، فهؤلاء الأطفال أيضا آبائهم يظنون أنهم يتمتعون بأصوات جيدة، فهكذا يطلبون منهم أن يقرأوا شيء معين أو يقرأوا قصيدة أو أغنية على مسامع حضرة أمير المؤمنين. فيقول حضرته أن الآباء يتلذذون بأصوات أبنائهم ولا يتفطنون لأمور في هذه الأصوات ربما تجعز آذان الآخرين، وحضرته يقول أنه بعض الأحيان هنالك ارتباك أو هنالك تأثر غير سليم في أذن حضرته، ولكنه لا يستطيع أن يخبرهم بذلك إذ أن الآباء لا يلتفتون إلى هذه النقاط. وكما تعرفون مثل المثل الذي يقول أن القرد في عين أمه يكون مثل الغزال، فهؤلاء الآباء ليس بإمكانهم أن يتفطنوا لهذه الأمور. ويقول حاتم المؤمنين
There are also some children very good voices too.
Yes. ويقول حاتم المنين أننا لا ننفي أن هنالك أطفال لهم أصوات جيدة وأتمتع بسماع
Very
أصواتهم.
pleasing to hear them. Even small children, young little girls, it's amazing how they sing beautifully. It's not always the punishment.
ويقول حضرته أن هنالك بعض الفتيات الصغيرات لهن أصوات جميلة جدا وليس دائما هذا يكون فيه نوع من عذاب أو اشمئزاز. ثم قال حضرته أن التقارير التي وصلت لحضرته تخبر أن التلاميذ الأحمديين في أوروبا هم متفوقون في هذه الدراسات، إما في الكليات أو حتى في المعاهد وفي المدارس. وهكذا يقول حضرته نفهم أنهم يعيشون في إطار عائلي متماسك ولا يشاهدون هذه المحطات التلفزيونية الرخيصة، بل بالعكس هم يواظبون على مشاهدة التلفاز الأحمدي. وهكذا هذا الجو الموجود، هذا جو العائلة المتماسكة والتلفاز الذين يشاهدونه وبقية التعاليم الإسلامية صحيحة، هذا جعل فيهم شحنة كي يتقدموا للأمام ويتفوقوا على بقية أصدقائهم. ثم قال حضرته أن من خلال حديثه مع هؤلاء الأطفال الذين يحضرون لمقابلة حضرته مع أبائهم، يتفتن حضرته كما تعرفون هو متخصص في علم الهوميوباثي، يتفتن لبعض الأعراض في وجوه هؤلاء الأطفال، فيخبر الآباء يبدو أن ابنك له مرض معين في القلب أو أنه يبدو متأخرا، ولكن الآباء بطبيعة الحال ينفون ذلك، ولكنهم معظمهم يتصلون بحضرته بعد شهر أو أكثر ويقولون فعلا قد أخذنا ابننا الذي قلت لنا هذه الأمور قد حدثت فيه لشخص مختص وقد أخبرنا بالضبط بما أخبرتنا به. ويقول حضرة أمير المؤمنين أنه بفضل الله هذا العلاج بالمثل أو الهوميوباثي قد يساعد على التخلص من الأمراض الوراثية أيضا، وهكذا حضرتهم يساعد هؤلاء الأطفال كي يتخلصوا من هذه الأمور. ثم قال حضرته أنه أيضا هنالك الآباء هنالك قد تعلموا الكثير من محاضرات حضرته المتخصصة بالعلاج بالمثل أو بالهوميوباثي، وهذا أكسبهم شهرة عظيمة في محيطهم، إذ أنهم أصبحوا بإمكانهم أن ينصحوا جيرانهم مثلا إذا كان لهم مرض صغير أو يشتكي بعض أبنائهم من أعراض مرض معين، يعطونهم هذا الدواء الهوميوباثي بدون أي مقابل. فهكذا يقول حضرة المؤمنين أنه في هذه الرحلة كان يرى الثمار، كان أي بعبارات أخرى كان يجني ثمار ما علمه من خلال هذه المحاضرات القيمة. ويقول حضرة المؤمنين أن ما وقع في هذا المجتمع الإسلامي الأحمدي الحي هنالك مثل في هذه الدول الأوروبية، أنهم بعد أن اكتسبوا هذه الشهرة والاحترام في محيطهم ومن جيرانهم وأصدقائهم، هؤلاء الناس الذين وصفوا لهم هذه الأدوية وأعطوهم هذه الأدوية بدون مقابل، هذا قد أحدث شيء معين في قلوب هؤلاء الإخوة هنالك والجيران، فبعد مدة تقربوا أكثر من هؤلاء الإخوة والأخوات الأحمديين وبدأوا يستفسروا أكثر إلى أي دين ينتمون وما هي عقائدهم وإلى آخر ذلك، إلى درجة أن فتح هنالك باب جديد للقيام بالتبليغ وتبليغ رسالة الإسلام إلى هؤلاء الناس. ثم قال حضرة أمير المؤمنين أن من الدروس الهامة للفضائية الإسلامية الأحمدية هي دروس الأطفال ودروس تعليم اللغة الأردية، وهذين هما البرنامجين الأكثر شهرة ورواجا بين مفاضلي السادة المشاهدين الأفاضل في دول مختلفة. ويقول حضرته أن تعليم دروس الأطفال خصوصا نعلم فيها عن حياة الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وسيرته الطاهرة، وأيضا عن تاريخ الإسلام إلى غاية ما حدث في إسبانيا، وأيضا نحدث بأمور أخرى من القرآن الكريم مثل قصص حضرة إبراهيم عليه السلام وأمور تتعلق برمضان والكعبة الشريفة وإلى آخر ذلك. ويقول حضرة المؤمنين أنه أيضا في هذه الدروس أي في دروس الأطفال هذه هنالك أطفال يلقون خطابات حول الخلفاء الراشدين الأولين والآخرين. فهكذا يقول حضرة المؤمنين أنه رأى تحسن في معارف هؤلاء الأطفال، رأى تحسن يعني
الخلفاء الصحابة.
ويضيف حضرة المؤمنين أن ليس هنالك هذه الخطابات حول الخلفاء الراشدين الأولين والآخرين فقط، وأيضا عن صحابة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. وأيضا يقول حضرة المؤمنين أنه رأى تحسن في معارف وأخلاق هؤلاء الأطفال الذين يشاركون في هذه البرامج أو يشاهدونها. فهؤلاء الأطفال في آخر المطاف يقول حضرتهم أنهم قد تخلوا عن ترديد تلك الأغاني الشعبية المنحطة، فبعد أن شاهدوا الفضائية الإسلامية الأحمدية الآن أصبحوا يتغنون بمدح الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وأغاني دينية أخرى. وهكذا أيضا وصل حضرته في التعرف على هؤلاء الناس عن كثب والقرب، وسألهم أيضا كيف يقومون بعمل التبليغ إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى، وتعرف أكثر عن تفاصيل ذلك. وثم انتقل حضرته للحديث بالتفصيل عن هذه الرحلة، وقال أن هذه المرة في رحلته إلى فرنسا هذه الرحلة دامت يومين. اليوم الأول كان له طابع اجتماعي، أما اليوم الثاني فكان له طابع خاص، وهو نصف ذلك اليوم قد خصصه حضرته مشكورا إلى الملاقات العائلية أو لقاءات منفردة مع العائلات المسلمين الأحمديين وعائلات أخرى من غير المسلمين الأحمديين. فهكذا يقول حضرته أنه في اليوم الأول كان يشاهد وجوه جديدة في القاعة، وكان ليس بإمكانه أن يتعرف عليهم بقرب، ولكن في اليوم الثاني قد تعرفوا على حضرته وزاروه زيارة شخصية منفردة في مكتبه، وهكذا عانقوه وتعرف عليهم حضرته من قرب. وهكذا يقول حضرته أن كان من يأتي إلى مكتبه كان يبدو فيه اهتمام ويريد أن يتعرف على الأحمدية أكثر وأكثر، وهكذا يكون فيهم تحول جذري تام من ما شاهده في اليوم الأول. فهكذا منهم من يقول من هؤلاء الزوار الكرام يقولون أنهم لأول مرة قد سمعوا وتعرفوا واقتربوا بالجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية، ولكنهم قد تأثروا كثيرا لما شاهدوه وعاينوه ما يحدث من خدمة للإسلام في هذه الجماعة المباركة. ويقول حضرته أن هؤلاء الحاضرين كانوا من جنسيات مختلفة وجنسيات كثيرة، فكانوا هنالك إخوة من المغرب العربي، وكان هناك إخوة أيضا من الجزائر وسوريا ومستعمرات فرنسية كثيرة، وأيضا أوروبيين وإخوة من البيرو والفيتنام. فهكذا كما ذكرت لحضراتكم كانت هنالك أناس حضروا من جنسيات مختلفة كثيرة في هذه الزيارة الأخيرة لحضرة أمير المؤمنين. ثم قال حضرته أنه بدوره يستفيد أيضا من هذه اللقاءات مع هؤلاء الناس من الجنسيات المختلفة، فبالاحتكاك بهم وبالتعرف عليهم أكثر وعن قرب يتعرف حضرته عن الطابع الاجتماعي لبلدانهم، وأيضا يتعرف على مستوى تفكيرهم. وهكذا يقول حضرته بعد أن نتعرف عن كثب وعن قرب عن كل هذه الأمور سأتمكن بفضل الله أن أصل إلى هذه العقول وأبلغهم دعوة الإسلام حسب ما تعرفت على مستواهم العقلي والاجتماعي. وفي آخر حديثه يقول حضرة المؤمنين أن نصف اليوم هذا الذي خصصه لهذه الزيارة الانفرادية لهذه العائلات يقول أنه كان نصف يوم بكلمة مختصرة، ولكنه كان نصف يوم ليوم طويل جدا.
Jazakumullah. And the impression when one finishes this tour, however big or small it may be, is that you have lived much longer there than normal days, because it's extremely, especially busy. So I thought I was returning after 10 or 14 days from France when I returned here. That activity is completely different type of intense activity. But it was very rewarding also from the point of view of some non-Ahmadi Arabs accepting Ahmadiyyat and getting initiated within attending 2 majalis, and that was all. But in fact their contact with Ahmadiyyat had begun earlier through MTA. So they told me, I was amazed, how could they know Ahmadiyyat and had come there with all this enthusiasm and asking different questions which knowledgeable people ask. So it transpired after my inquiry that all of the Arabs who had come, not all but most of the Arabs who had come, had known Ahmadiyyat through MTA. MashaAllah. It's a credit to you and a point to remember that your services are not going waste, MashaAllah. He's a volunteer, and he's also a volunteer in all the MTA, and he's also a volunteer in MTA. They're working here, with such labor and such dedication. It's amazing. But they should be told repeatedly that their work is not going waste at all. Their labor is bearing such wonderful fruits, as I'm going to tell you about in France. So they told me that they had the first knowledge of Ahmadiyya through MTA, because by turning the knob, and I've noticed Arabs are more fond of television than others are, of all ages, and they have the strength to watch television till late at night. I don't know, their timings are different from us perhaps, but they watch television up to 2 o'clock in the morning, and then sleep late, and then have a bigger break in the afternoon. Then the whole night is theirs. So they complained that MTA is no longer available, no longer uh, viewed on the same channel as we used to watch it. But the problem is that of the change of satellite system and everything. So I have told the Jamaat to provide them the proper information, and if possible, help them install the antennas in the right direction. Because the demand was very strong. They said we have got used to it, and when we can't find MTA, it's very disturbing. We don't like this. We want it again. But that was the background of why they became interested. During question answer sessions, I found that they had some very important questions to ask, which either we had not discussed here on MTA, or they had missed those programs. Many a time they had missed, in fact. So we sat for 4 hours in a very grueling question answer session, and in which the questions multiplied from first to 2, 3, 4, please more and more. And they said, no limits, go on, exhaust yourself. Huh? And at the end, they themselves requested that they want to be initiated into Ahmadiyya. And the zeal with which they became Ahmadis, amazing. Faces which were alien, unknown, completely strangers. They were overwhelmed with emotions of love and dedication and spirit. And two among them were imams of some mosques in Paris. And I was amazed to see them change so rapidly. Imams are the most difficult to change, because they have their own worldly benefits attached to their followings. And they know that Ahmadiyyat is not a popular thing. For them to be converted in such zeal, one of them, as he met me, it was difficult to stop him sobbing and crying, just like a child. And he was an elderly, not very elderly, but
40s.
About 40, 30,
40s.
about 40, yes. 40 of age, and young man at 40, he was very strong and stout and very knowledgeable. When he started questioning, then I knew he was. But that was what he had gained within these 2 days. Watching Ahmadis, how they behaved, children and things, and people asking questions and my answering questions. Then they inquired many questions about the Holy Quran. That was the most wonderful part of it, which impressed me so much. Like you, they are interested in knowing things about the Holy Quran which they don't read in other books, which keep them puzzled and they can't find the answers. So the main factor, I think, which helped them decide that this is the Jamaat was this. Because whenever I answered, I could see their faces were completely transformed. I could see them, feeling so happy about and relaxed at finding some very interesting, deep, profound meaning of those verses, which appeared to be without any clear meaning to them before, which they read about in old commentaries and they couldn't be satisfied. So this is the Ahmadiyya tafsir, which I think is the most impressive to the Arabs. Because this is their language, they think he doesn't even speak a few words of Arabic. But when it comes to the Quran, they agreed 100%. Not a single, word of difference. And this led to other questions and others and others. So many became Ahmadis, not only from Arab countries, but also from some African countries, from France, Paris itself. So it was a very rewarding tour from that point of view. And because this was the last session, so it was wonderful, supper, spiritual supper for me, to go to sleep with that pleasure of having a first class, very enlightening and enriching and delightful supper. Huh? And I think he was wonderful in translation, I must say. We had two translators, one from French to, no, I'm sorry,
English.
from English to French. That was Jahangir. And he did very well indeed. But whenever it came to Arabic, there I thought he just laid his arms, said no. Then he took up. And he was in a very special mood. You will see the video, fully charged with everything. And so he helped a lot in helping them to become Ahmadis, mashallah. And with that, I take leave of you, and you continue to translate.
Okay, I can do it
We
tomorrow.
have some more minutes? Only 1 minute. Tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.